Take two! Good morning! Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. Since it was an audio problem, you didn't get to probably hear that first hymn, and it's a good one. It's a good one. So we're just gonna do it again. We're so happy you have joined us on this live stream. Again, if you didn't hear the first time, we have a brand new camera system, which is it's a little scary because they all look like Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it brings out that Halloween vibe to this space right now. And our first hymn we're gonna sing together is Meditation on Breathing through this little loop pedal. This song is in 3 parts. There are 3 different melodies. Feel free to sing one of them, all of them, flip around, make up your own. The world is your oyster. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe. You can just keep that breathe in, breathe out going the whole time if you want. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out loud. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. We are so happy you are here with us for take 2 of our Sunday morning live stream worship.
Thank you so much, Don. That was beautiful. I'm Reverend Taryn Strauss, a minister at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, and I'm so glad you are choosing to worship with us online this morning. There's an image that ministers often share of a sermon, which is like a small little ice cap mountain on top of the surface of water, and then under the surface is an enormous iceberg. And that's what it takes to bring an online worship to you. So I feel like the audiovisual team right now is doing the work of this underwater iceberg, this mountain. And we are so grateful for their expertise and for their incredible dedication and commitment to this congregation. Jeep Hook, Pasha, Souvorin, George Macon, we're so grateful for you. And we also hope that you are breathing in peace and breathing out love as we work with our brand new camera system this morning. We are well into our worship series, Tikkun Olam, Repair the World. So we also hope that I want to invite you for this morning's worship to grab a pen and paper. So you can grab that pen and paper anytime between now and the sermon. But that's one thing that you will need by the time we get to our sermon is just any kind of writing utensil, marker, whatever, and paper. So look forward to that. Over the last 3 months, UUCA volunteers have been selling Black Lives Matter signs to raise money for Black lives of Unitarian Universalism. We are excited to announce that just this week we realized we were able to send $2,000 to Black Lives of UU to support their work. There are still signs available, and you can, if you need a yard sign, Black Lives Matter yard sign, you can email signs@uuca.org if you're interested in obtaining a sign for your lawn. And this Saturday, you'll want to put on some costumes and join the UUCA community this coming Saturday at our new property at 2650 North Druid Hills Road between 4 and 6 p.m. for our physically distant trunk or treat, Halloween trunk or treat. So that's October 31st, this Halloween. Come witness the fun and the spooky creativity of our community in both decorative trunks and Halloween treat distribution methods in COVID times. We will also have some live music and a few other surprises, so please join us. And this afternoon at 4 o'clock p.m., the Interfaith Children's Movement Children's Sabbath event will be broadcast from our UUCA studio here in the Treehouse. UUCA was a founding part of the Interfaith Children's Movement 20 years ago this year, and many of our members are still an active part of it, including myself. And UUCA's own Sophia Hook will be a part of the Salute to John Lewis this afternoon. So we hope you will tune into that. It's a Zoom webinar, and the meeting ID is being dropped into our live chat now. We hope that you will join us after this morning's worship for a Zoom Room virtual social hour after the service is over. You can sign up for the Zoom social hour by following the link that comes out in your weekly update or the link that is being dropped into the live chat right now. Through our live chat, we can express love and care for each other. And as you use, we know we have a lot of varied opinions, which is a strength of our faith and our congregation. The YouTube chat, however, is not the place to voice and discuss those opinions, as that can take away from the flow of the worship service and the experience that others are having. If you wish, you can use our live chat feature for 3 purposes: to welcome and support one another, to affirm the hard work and efforts of worship leaders and our AV team, or to spread good vibes. If you have any questions or concerns about the sermon or worship, please contact me or our staff directly via email. And if you notice yourself becoming upset during the worship service, please know we have a lay minister standing by in our live chat. You can reach out to lay minister this Sunday, I believe it's Barbara Begner, and she will arrange a phone call with you offline so that others can enjoy the service. And now I invite you into some gentle care on our live stream. Please take a moment to welcome each other and to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Beck Shalizzi. I am the Membership and Social Justice Coordinator at UUCA. Yay! The first time I attended UUCA, I felt hesitant. The last time I had been a part of a religious community, it broke me. And the fragments were still grating against each other. Growing up, my church was my everything. My friend group, my spiritual center, my family, the first place that I ever did social justice, and it was my home. Then, after leaving for college, I got to know a different Jesus than the one I grew up with. A Jesus who was a Black Jewish activist, a Jesus who befriended sex workers and was an anti-capitalist. And I was also beginning to realize that even this Jesus did not need to be my entire source of spiritual inspiration. I found power and healing in the revelations of the tarot. I felt the divine in the works of feminist authors and of writers of Afrofuturist science fiction. I also realized that many of my spiritual beliefs were informed by my childhood best friend and their mother. Through the sharing of their Hindu belief, they taught me about the plurality of God and about the importance of sacred stories. Through this relationship, I learned how the particular brand of Christianity I grew up with was often hateful, exclusionary, and racist, and how much it and I were hurting people who I claimed to love. And I soon learned how much it was hurting me. That first year of college, I came out as bisexual and eventually transgender. When the news of my queerness broke to the church that I grew up in, it did not go well. I became the local focus of a national debate. Adults I considered mentors told my mother that I was going to hell and would not look at me when I visited. The ones who supported my gender and sexuality did not support my changing religious beliefs. I've experienced some pretty intense homophobia and transphobia. I've been physically assaulted, verbally abused, experienced healthcare discrimination, and I've even lost a job. And yet, I would say that losing my spiritual family was one of the hardest experiences of discrimination. So I broke, and 10 years passed. My androgynous self stepped into the treehouse at UUCA, this tucked away office building with fluorescent lights and no gender-neutral bathrooms. So, fun fact, I never even stepped foot into the old building. And despite this imperfect setting, I felt loved. People's eyes lit up when they saw me. Many told me they hadn't seen me before and were so glad that I had chosen to join them. A congregant came up to me and saw the transgender symbol on my necklace and said, "I'm transgender too. I'm also a witch." And I knew that I was home. This is a big part of why I donated to the Capital campaign. I don't have to give up a part of myself to belong. Whether it's my gender or the tarot, I can have it all. But it's not the only reason. It's not just about comfort or feeling at home. It's about what we can and are going to offer to Atlanta. I didn't just donate to a campaign, I donated to a vision of a campus hub for interfaith engagement, hosting Jewish high holy days and interfaith iftar celebrations of Ramadan. A vision of a campus that offers healing to the greater community through multiple weekly support groups. A campus where fledgling grassroots initiatives and nonprofits find their wings. A campus where we can advocate for change in Georgia policies. Who else is ready to expand Medicaid? We got some hands, I see your hands raised through the camera and I appreciate it. So dream big with me. Say yes to a capital and stewardship campaign visit. If you have not yet been contacted, go to uuca.org/together. Press the purple button to ask for a visit. Build a new way together with me. Now, I would like to invite you to light your chalice at home as we say the chalice lighting words together. May the light of this
flame
illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
It's okay.
Gather round, children, come here to my side. sit by the fire where it's warm. I'll tell you something was once told to me about the way that we weather the storm. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, or the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake and we think that our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's the pride in the friendships we formed. It's the courage we show facing things we don't know. It's the way that we weather the storm. If you try to stand tall, but you slip and you fall, in the earth is the sound of the stars. Truth gets revealed when you're broken and healed. Every heart is made stronger by scars. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, or the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake and we feel like our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's our pride in the friendships we've formed. It's the courage we show facing things we don't know. It's the way that we weather the storm. So go on your journeys, be bold and be brave. Be lions, my friends, and be strong. And when it is such that it all seems too much, then remember the words of this song. It's not how long the rain falls, or how hard the wind blows, or how deep is the snow in the road, nor the balance we fake when we feel the ground shake and we feel like our world will explode. It's the help that we give, it's the love that we live, it's our pride in the friendships we formed. It's the courage we show facing things we don't know. It's the way that we weather the storm. It's the way that we weather the storm. It's the way that we weather the storm.
Now, please join Spencer and Meredith Milby, who will lead us in this morning's movement prayer.
Please join us for the movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of the Spirit. We bring the gifts onto ourselves and breathe and smile. We share the gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Amen. Namaste.
blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me.
Let us put hands upon hearts and feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. We hold in our hearts people who are struggling across the globe, struggling with loneliness, with grief, loss, or illness. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find ways to be more loving to one another. You are invited to say the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning, people who need some extra healing energy. Write their names into our live chat or speak their names into this holy moment now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. Now, we still our bodies, and we still our minds. We take in a big breath, and we exhale. We relax into this moment that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
great mystery. Hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion. Be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Hi, I'm Laura Beth Brown, Director of Lifespan Religious Education, and I just want to do a quick check-in this morning. Who here is breathing? Are you sure? Yeah, breathing, check. Now you may be thinking, well, of course I'm breathing, Laura Beth. But you know what? Unless we are exercising or if we're sick in such a way that it affects our breathing, we don't generally think about our breath. It just happens automatically. But I think it's actually a really good idea to check in with our breath. Because what happens when our breath is affected? Well, I have a little demonstration. So I have a little tea light here in a glass, a little chalice. And I'm wondering what would happen if I put this plate on top. Do you know? Let's see. Well, the light starts to grow a little dim, and then it goes out. Now, why did that happen? Well, because it lost oxygen, and fire needs oxygen to burn. And we are the same way. We need oxygen for our inner lights to shine in the world. And some ways in which our inner lights may dim is that we may get angry, or we may be frustrated, or we may be anxious, or we may be super tired. And all of these things can actually be helped when we focus on our breath in certain ways. And so I am just going to share with you some practices, some breathing practices from my personal yoga practice that I use to help me to show up in my world in the ways that I want. And so the first technique is called bear breath. Now, when you think of a bear, what is something that you think about? As we're approaching the winter months, perhaps hibernation. And so this breathing is about helping us to take in a lot of breath so that we can remain calm and bring us to peace. So this is a good breath to use when you are like angry or frustrated or anxious, maybe even a little bit scared. So bear breathing goes like this. You're going to inhale for a count of 5. You're going to pause at the top of the breath for a count of 3, and then exhale for a count of 5. Now I'm going to lead you through this. So the first thing I want to invite you to do is close your eyes if you're comfortable. And just start to breathe naturally here. You're just focusing on the breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then on your next inhale, we're going to start. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, 2, 3, and then exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then opening your eyes and just noticing if that helped you at all. So I find bear breath to be really great if I'm about to take a hard test, or if I'm supposed to present at an important meeting and I'm feeling just a little bit anxious. Bear breathing can bring me back to a state of peace and clear-headedness. Now, another breath that you can learn is called bunny breath. And this breath is when you're feeling more tired. Perhaps your body is yawning because it's trying to bring in more oxygen. Well, bunny breath helps us when we need to kind of wake up and we need to be more clear-headed and focused. And so this breath goes like this. You're going to bend your chin down just slightly, and you're going to take 3 quick inhales through your nose. And then lift the head back up and exhale through the mouth. Can you do that with me? And so you don't want to do that too many times because you could get lightheaded, but you could do it about 5 or 6 times to help wake yourself up a little bit. And when we choose to focus on our breath more, when we choose to use some breathing techniques, or even just stopping and pausing and just focusing on our breath, it can bring us more present to the moment. And it can help us allow our lights, our inner lights, to shine more in the world so they don't go out.
Thank you, LB. I'm now feeling more alert, so that's great. I do not know what world we will be stepping into on November 4th. I do know the world is always ending somewhere, and another one always being born. It ended on September 11th, 2001, during my first year of high school teaching, and a new one began on September 12th. It ended and began in your generation too. What I do know also is that we will be here for each other at the world's end and the next one's beginning. This is no caravan of despair. This is a love train on the track towards our hopeful future. We are finding our way into generosity during a time of collective scarcity. It is so beautiful. We are making connections and visits for the stewardship and capital campaigns. We are gathering all of our resources, our strength, all of our love to build a new world together. Not just a refuge or a place of comfort for those who seek it, but also that, and a powerful beacon, a hub for organizing and learning, for soul work and spirit-filled activism, all of it. Come hell or high water, UUCA is building a new way for all of us and for those we haven't met yet. My faith in this community and our resilience and even our triumph, well, it's all the momentum I need to get through this time. Our new campus, our dreams becoming reality, they're like the pot of gold. But my friends, this time, this is the rainbow we are traveling to get there. So please give generously now to this vivid, vibrant community arcing across the sky. Give for the trunk or treats, the lay ministry program, the religious education program, all the vocal coaching that I hear is happening on Wednesday nights. Give generously to all the passion, the life, vibrancy, and the love we serve together. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Let me see the world with clouds. Take me to the world, out where I can push through crowds. Take me to the world, a world with skies that's bursting with surprise, to open up my eyes for joy. Take me to a world that's real. Show me how it's done. Teach me how to laugh, to feel. Move me to the sun. Just hold my hand whenever we arrive. Take me to the world where I can be alive. Let me see a world that smiles. Take me to the world, somewhere I can walk for miles. Take me to the world with all around things growing in the ground, where birds that make a sound are birds. We shall see a world come true. We shall have the world. I won't be afraid. With you, we shall have the world. I'll hold your hand and know I'm not alone. We shall have the world to keep. Such a lovely world. We'll weep. We shall have the world forever, for all.
For a faith home that is going to get you through this next month, and the one after that, and the one after that. We are deeply blessed and grateful. Blessings on your gift. May it send love and hope to all of us. Please join me now in the dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. This morning's reading is an excerpt of one of my favorite poems and poets, Audre Lorde. It's called A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways, coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward at once, before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures. Like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. So ends the reading. Do not be afraid. Those were the last words the Irish poet Seamus Heaney texted to his wife just hours before his life ended in August of 2013. In fact, he wrote his text message in Latin, noli timere. His words, do not be afraid. His words follow me through these days when fear threatens to consume me, scratching at my door, along with hope and dread and relief all piled up on one another, or maybe they're spread out amongst the different doors I might choose to open. There is so much in our control and much more outside of it. So what do we do with the humble fact of those dual realities? Times such as these next few weeks we greet together, well, it's a good time to have a spiritual director. And lucky for you, you are a member of a congregation and you kind of do have a spiritual director. So let's do some spiritual direction right now. Recently, when I was dealing with a personal problem that was causing me great anxiety, my spiritual director invited me into an activity that we will now do together. So wherever you are sitting, I want to invite you to get that piece of paper that you grabbed earlier and a pen or pencil or marker, crayon, whatever. To get your writing utensil and your paper. And think of an issue in your life that is causing you some anxiety. It can be anything, but pick one. Got it? I'm just assuming it's not going to be too difficult to pick one. Now, place your hand on the paper. We're going to go back to kindergarten for a moment together. Your open hand placed on the paper, and take your pen or pencil and trace your hand on the paper. And once you've done that, inside of your hand, take a moment to write down in just a word or two words everything about this situation that is in your control. I'll give you a minute to do this. Inside the hand, write down what is really in your control about the situation. Okay, now outside, the part of the paper that is outside of your hand, write down everything that is not in your control. On the outside of your hand, write down in just a word or two all the things about the situation that are out of your control. Not in your control. I'll give you a minute. Okay? Now consider your paper. Take a look. And as you're looking at your paper, I want you to imagine a much, much larger hand whose contours exist outside the page. Now, this could be God's hand or Goddess's hand, the universe, just these things that are fully outside of your control, such as other people's reactions, right? Give them up. Give them up to that larger hand, whatever you choose to name it. As my spiritual director would say, give them up to God. There is the practice, the challenge. And now you can put your paper away for a moment and return to it later after the worship service. But this is the challenge, not only determining what is yours to change, yours to hold, but also how to give up what is not yours to hold. Now, for me, I do like that hand to be filled with me doing all that I could possibly do. But releasing that which is outside of my control, this takes practice, a spiritual practice. This shakes the foundations of the self. It brings healing. It releases a great surrender, a powerful, Why don't you do that with me? Just release what is out of your control. Say it with me. Write it in the chat, somebody. Not Bryce, but like somebody out there. On the path towards self-understanding and self-determination, we tend to pave the way by often naming what we are not. And in my life as a Unitarian Universalist, I have heard this practice repeated and echoed in the voices of the community. I am not a Christian. I am not an atheist. I am not that religious. I am not a racist. I am not a sexist. I am not ageist, and on and on. Now, the Zen priest Angel Kyoto Williams tells us, the question is not what you are not, but what are you now? Know thyself. Begin with a practice. Begin with just setting aside time to sit with yourself. It sounds easy, and it is one of the most difficult things I have done. In fact, most days I find it impossible to do. Again, Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams writes, we cannot have a healed society. We cannot change. We cannot have justice if we do not reclaim and repair the human spirit. If we don't do inner work that has been underemphasized, that we have not trained ourselves to do the work that is upon us now, to do our work, to come into deep knowing of who we are. That's the stuff that brings down systems of oppression. I do not know what works for you. Walking meditation each morning, perhaps? Walking the dog and then forgetting all space and time and everything but the morning dew gathering on a flaming pink petal? Or resting your gaze upon nothingness, blue sky, or fog? I only know what works for me. Not all times, not in all phases of this pandemic even, but this time we are in right now. For the past month, I have very successfully been trying to meditate and occasionally doing it about 3 to 4 days per week. I begin by writing down all my thoughts in a non-judgmental stream of consciousness, even the spaces between thoughts. Write them all down, blah, 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 until there is nothing left, or 5 minutes have passed and there's just a little more free space in the anxious dustbin of the mind. Then I lie down, full shavasana, so as not to worry about the neck cricks, the aches and pains, simply to meld into the floor like a hot candle someone lit, and now I'm melting into the carpet and the earth catches me. I notice the sensation of a breeze on my arm, hear the sounds of the kids downstairs, and think nothing until a thought floats by and I observe and wave to it from within. I have to use a timer. Otherwise, all thoughts clamor around like a crowded subway, waiting to push through the door, impatiently eager for the end. It's only 10 minutes. Sometimes it feels like 1. Sometimes it feels like forever, and so I work towards a mantra. Each week a word, one to breathe in and the same to breathe out. Something I want to cultivate, nurture, and maybe even birth into the world in some way. This week, it's been peace. Peace. And I wonder if peace is the opposite of fear, the way I wonder if the opposite of democracy is white supremacy. And then I return to the mantra, peace, and let the breath go, and with the breath, the thought. After 10 minutes, I rise up from lying down and I vote. Or I rise up and I help someone else vote. Or I rise up and sign a petition or write a senator. Or I make a phone call to someone who needs support. Or I give money to something I believe in. There's the practice, the meditation, and then the action. Times such as these, we must pull out all the spiritual practice stops, all the stops. Now, this is a phrase, pulling out all the stops, that originally refers to the stop knobs on a pipe organ. You may know this, which are used to regulate the instrument's sound by selecting which set of pipes are active at a given time. To pull out all the stops, literally then, is to pull out every knob so that air is allowed to blast through every rank as the organist plays, which creates a powerful blast of unfiltered sound. Now, Bach was famous in his time, not just as a composer and organist, but also as a great organ tester. And whenever Bach would try a new organ, he would begin by playing with all the stops pulled out. And in this time, we need a spirit. When our spirit is being tested, we must play all the stops, all at once. Now, spiritually speaking, this means you got to bake when the Spirit says bake. You've got to pray when the Spirit says pray. You've got to run when the Spirit says run. You've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. Make time to listen deeply to your spirit. This is time to take an account of your deepest core values, who you really are, and let that drive your action. Seamus Heaney told his beloved wife not to be afraid. How is this possible? How is this possible when the tiniest decisions become monstrous? I can't find my mask. Do I still drop by the pharmacy to pick up my medication? Someone needs my help. What do I risk to help them? How close can I come to someone in my loneliness? Know yourself by sitting with yourself in the close silence. Learn to understand your foundational beliefs in any election outcome. Come mid-November, we will all be here doing what we must. We will take a pause to process the trauma we are surviving still. For some of us in small ways and others in very serious ways, surviving. This week and next week of November 3rd, UUCA will be here for you when you need us. Each morning of that week, we will release a devotional reading, some poetry that I have curated for you to get us through the week. And I will be meditating every morning of that week from 8:30 a.m. until 8:45 a.m. Now, I won't be doing this in front of a screen or a camera. I will be in my home, and you are free to join me. We will connect vibrationally. You'll know that I am there, meditating, listening for the still small voice, connecting with my core sense of self. Our energies, perhaps they'll find each other out there, gathering clearness. So please join me beginning November 1st and ending November 7th in meditation from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. wherever you are. And then on Tuesday, November 3rd, on Election Day, we will open up our new campus at 2650 North Druid Hills Road for a labyrinth walk. So after you vote, join us with masks on, and you can walk the labyrinth. And we will have ritual stations created for releasing your fears, lighting a candle for hope. And we will offer a station for taking action, honoring that voting is one action amidst a life of service, remembering that people have worked for justice long before they had the right to vote. And we will work for justice long after we have voted in a single election. As the saying goes, the arc of the moral universe isn't going to bend itself. And on Wednesday, November 4th, grab your chalice and join your UUCA community online for a virtual vigil from 5:30 to 7 in the evening. All the details of these activities will come to you in subsequent publications. Don't worry, you don't have to remember this. But I do think it will be important for us to see each other's faces, to express what we need to express, come what may. As the poet Audre Lorde reminds us, for those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone, we have what we need to survive. This Halloween, when the monsters under the bed may be real, do not be afraid. It is time to sit silently with ourselves, rooting down into our core values, understanding ourselves deeply, so that we are not moved too far off kilter by that which we cannot control, so that our souls may be grounded amidst news cycles and headlines and reactions of others, so we have everything we need to survive. May it be so. Amen.
Amen. You know, it's important that we continue to have all these messages of complexity, that this isn't a time of black and white, this is a time of living in gray area, and I think that's really important. Our final hymn lives into that as well. Peace like a river, we'll talk about peace and joy and pain and sorrow and strength, and hopefully bring it all back around to peace. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul.
All right, so get that paper back out with the hand image. You know, maybe the hand whose contours you can't see, maybe that's the community. Maybe it's the community that holds you. And so if you are afraid, you can rest knowing you are held, knowing we have got you. We will get through this together. And also remembering it is always better to speak if we are still afraid, remembering perhaps we were never meant to survive, but knowing that if we do, it will be because we worked through this, we connected with our truest selves, and we made it through together. Go in peace. Go in love. Amen. Blessed be.
We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these the world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day, new day, you are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you can but prove to me you are the new day. Send the sun in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of life will urge me, say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must fade, thoughts occur that this night might stay yesterday. Thoughts that we as humans small could slow worlds and end it all. Lie around me where they fall before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just needs days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day. You are the new day. This little light of mine This little light of mine. Walk down that lonesome road all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees. If I had stopped to listen once or twice, if I had closed my mouth and opened my eyes, if I had cooled my head and warmed my heart, I'd not be on this road tonight. Carry on, never run feeling sorry for yourself. It doesn't save you from your troubled mind. Walk down that lonesome road all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees.
Have you ever seen the sky so beautiful, colorful, wide and wonderful? Have you ever felt the sunshine so brilliantly raining down over you and me? Have you ever wanted more? Wanted more? You've got to keep your mind